This will be a short video on how to remove the nib and feed from a fountain pen. This golden part here is called the nib. This black part is called the feed because it feeds ink to the nib. You would want to know how to remove the nib and feed from a fountain pen in case your pen is giving poor flow. In this case, it's a good idea to remove the feed and clean it out, or maybe even widen the channels. Professionals do this with something called a knockout block that you can purchase online. However, it can also be done with everyday household products, and that's what this video is about. In this case, the pen has an ebonite, or a hardened rubber feed, and what you can use to remove this nib and feed is an everyday rubber jar opener, or if you have any rubber sheeting lying around, that will work. Anything like that will help you get a good grip. Almost all fountain pens have friction fit nibs and feeds. What this means is this black feed is really just pushed in there and friction holds it into the pen. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab a hold of the nib and the feed using the rubber and pull straight out. Some pens require a little more force, some a little less, but in this case it wasn't very hard to remove this nib and feed. Now what we'd be able to do is to take a toothbrush or something and clean out these channels, clean the nib. Now let's talk about how to reinsert the nib and feed. What you'll do is you'll line up the feed with the nib, so it looks something like that. You want that feed pretty close to the tip of the nib, but of course not touching it. You don't want to get in the way of your writing. And then what you want to do is you want to look inside the section and see if there is the section is molded such that the feed is designed to fit in a certain part, or the nib is designed to fit in a certain part of the section. In this case, it's perfectly round, so it doesn't matter. What we'll do is just the reverse operation. We'll put this in and get it started. Go back to our rubber sheeting and push this nib in a little bit farther so the nib and feed are seated nicely in the section. And there we go. Just to see one more example, here's another pen. It's called the Airmail 67T. Now this pen does have part of the section that is designed for the nib to fit in a certain location. I don't know if you can see it there, but the molding means that the nib is supposed to fit right up on this top section here, and so we'll be wise to put the nib in where it's meant to go. This works on lots of different types of fountain pens. This is a piston filler pen, whereas these are simple eyedroppers. Again, simply remove the nib and feed with the plastic sheeting. When it's time to reinsert it, see if there's a certain place that the nib and feed are meant to go. Push them in like that. There you go. Very simple. I hope it helps. Thanks a lot.